Chris McManus. Okay, McManus. Okay. Hello and welcome to Android App Addicts, episode number 584. Episode 584 brought to you on the 28th of April 2022. I'm sitting here with the DoorToDoorGeek, who is the Elon Musk of Android. And we've got second banana to him, who's looking very much like Mr. Potato Head today. Josh. How you going, Josh?
I was good until you got here.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention our sponsor today. Chris McManus is our Patreon sponsor. He's been with us for a while. So thank you very much, Chris. Much appreciated, your support. Please keep it up. Carry on. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Mr. Potato Head.
I don't even know what the question was. But I'm doing well, thank you. I'm a bit tired. Been a lot of things going on. Spring is supposedly coming, although it snowed a couple weeks ago, which was pretty unexpected and not great weather to have a barbecue that you had planned for a while.
Wait a minute. Canada, unexpected snow isn't words I thought I would hear go together.
Yeah, and then we've been working with a company to design some permaculture for around our property, basically creating a food forest. So I've been doing some stuff with that as well. And now I need to figure out how to implement the plan. So been pricing out tractors and mini excavators. So just to see if it makes more sense because we need to fence our property. And I think it'll be about 20 grand to fence our property. So I think I'm looking into buying a tractor and doing it myself.
Yeah, see, here in America, we would just get in the pickup truck, go down to the Home Depot, pick up some Mexicans, give them some beer, and we'll be all good. Just saying.
We do that with Americans here at the Home Depot.
Oh, touche. Yeah, I say things are okay here. Really quick, I want to give like a podcast, like announcement, warning thing, help kind of thing. If you are anywhere in the Jacksonville, Florida area, or you know Jerry from Android Buffet, formerly Android Buffet, now Techno Buffet, if you know him at all outside of podcast, you actually can communicate with him. Please do me and Guru from that show a favor and try to contact him. It's now been like 5 weeks, and Guru has not been able to contact Jerry at all. We're kind of worried what's going on. Hopefully he's just busy. But if you are a friend of Jerry from Techno Buffet, please reach out to him and ask him to contact Guru or myself.
Okay, Jerry and Guru.
Yeah, and that was our public service announcement. And I'll say, if you want to hear a different slant on technology and IoT and Raspberry Pis and Android, check out Techno Buffet.
Cool. Okay. I thought we'd kick off with a couple of emails that we got after the last show. Is that all right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So the first one was from Philip Keymer, Keymer. I hope I pronounced that right. Hello, fellow addicts. Just listened to your latest podcast, and I'm chiming in with my YouTube alternative. Now, I think this was in response to your mention of a YouTube Advanced or another version, was it? I can't remember what it was called. But I was in the chat at the time screaming "new pipe," and everybody ignored me. But Philip and Steve, who's the sender of the other email that we got, has also mentioned NewPipe. So Philip was saying, I use NewPipe, it is available through F-Droid. Yep, it's an open source application. I actually did bring NewPipe to, I think, the show a couple of months ago and gave a wee demonstration of that. It works a lot better than the full YouTube client on older hardware. Kids use it on old Samsung tablet and skips ads as you would expect. It does not, as far as I can tell, sync with YouTube. So if you want to sync your watches with YouTube on the web, you can only download your history from YouTube, not back, if that makes sense. Perfect sense. I also use an Android TV specific YouTube client, which also clips out the sponsor segments as well as ads. Now, this is interesting to me because I use Android TV and the bane of my life is the ads. It's really hard to.
But wait, before we get started, this show is brought to you by, oh man, I hate that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's terrible.
Some sort of boner pill.
Some sort of a booty sweat. Yeah. It is called SmartTube Next, available on GitHub. Like Vance, these will probably eventually get shut down, but hopefully they will last a bit longer as they are not modifying the original YouTube app like Vance did. At least that's my understanding. Anyway, thanks for the great podcast. Hope this is helpful to you and your listeners. Cheers, Phil. Sent from Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S running Pixel Experience ROM. Ooh, no root for the first time in years. Good on you, Phil. Battery is 74%. So he's given us a link.
That Mi Mix 2, I got to say right now, oh man, sexy.
Yeah.
Door doesn't need the pills.
Door doesn't need the pills. Oh, there's our show title right there. Phil gave us a link there to the GitHub link for the for what it was. It was use SmartTube Next. SmartTube Next, all one word, which is available on GitHub. So I'll put that GitHub link in the chat. So yeah, thanks, Phil. Let's raise a couple of good points there. I've tried to use NewPipe, but it doesn't have Chromecast capability. You can sync your subscriptions with Next with NewPipe, but yes, theoretically you can, but I have never been able to do it. So there's a few things to change there, but it's a really good ad-free alternative. Steve Woodyard, he came to us as well and said, okay, hi Josh and Ivor. Josh and Ivor. I'll get it right one day. I came across an app called NewPipe in a magazine. Not sure if it's been mentioned on your show before. Yes, it has. A couple of episodes ago, I mentioned it. It's not only on the Play Store, but I've included a link to the APK. It's basically YouTube, but without the annoying ads. I've only used it a couple of times so far, but so far so good. It then got me thinking if it would be possible to create a playlist of the audio from videos on YouTube that automatically download and get added to my regular podcasts so I can listen to them on my way to work. This is an interesting question. I follow Kidderminster Harriers FC. There you go, Kidderminster. And enjoy listening to the interviews with their manager and players. Okay. Whatever floats your boat. I use Podcast Addict and have managed to add the feed from YouTube, but can't seem to combine it with the regular feeds. I know that Door listens to hundreds of podcasts and wondered if this is something he has ever done. Door?
Well, I'll start with this is the thing that I've toyed with off and on for years, partially because when watching YouTube, in the native player will not go higher than 2x. In the last show notes, I have two links in the show notes. One was to YouTube Enhancer, and the other one was to Sponsor Block. With YouTube Enhancer, I can go up to 10x speed in YouTube. So then I've had less of a need to have it in podcast form. But I will tell you right now, the real answer to this, it's very easy. YouTube DL. You can have versions of it on your phone, or you can have it on any desktop client, Windows, Mac, Linux. YouTube DL, then you can literally put in the channel name and then just hit that. And then there are options to say, I only want the audio version of it. You can even specify you only want it in MP3 or the Apple format of it. And then all modern podcast clients, catchers on your phones, have the ability to play what's called a virtual podcast, which is basically just a folder. You point the virtual podcast at a folder on your phone, and then it will play it just like it's a podcast. I've never found that one instant solution to where you can just simply put one URL in one thing and automatically have it come to you as a podcast. It always involves a little bit of work, but it's definitely possible with YouTube DL. YouTube DL is like the golden way to download anything. And now the example I'm going to use with YouTube DL is just like Vance, just like NewPipe, just like all these other things. Relying on YouTube for your content means you're not only hitting a moving target, you're hitting a moving target that doesn't want to get hit. So they're going to constantly change things on the back end, constantly change how things work just to try to mess up people as quick as possible. So with that said, number one, YouTube DL has done a miraculous job over now like 10 years of still working, and it keeps working. And every time you think it's broke, you literally just do an update and then it's working again, kind of thing. Vance, the guy just got tired, is what I'll say. So if you're not paying for support, expect that support to go away sooner or later. I've donated to YouTube DL because I really want it to keep working. If you're using NewPipe or something else, I encourage you, try to find the author's website, try to find a way to give them at least a shekel or two. Just, because literally we can all spare $1 or $2. And if you can't, again, contact me, aa@podnutz.com. I'll give you $1 to give to somebody else, kind of thing. So yeah, YouTube DL is the easy way. AA Vid, it's not going to be in the notes. AA Vid is another app that you can put on your phone and literally put a YouTube link in it, a Vimeo link in it, a SoundCloud link in it, whatever, and then just say, I want to download it as an MP3. Download it to a virtual folder, Podcast Addict, play virtual podcast, and you should have everything you need. But now here's I wanted to ask you guys. This is almost like a philosophical, ethical question. If you're not paying for something, you're the product, number one. But if we don't give these developers any money, if we don't give them anything except for demands that we want our stuff to work, what is their motivation except for just wanting to circumvent the system, the man? So I keep thinking we have to give them something.
Well, I think they probably just love all the terrible comments they get when something breaks in their free open source app or their free app. That'd be my guess. They love the vitriol of people complaining about something that they're not paying for.
Oh, yeah. And now just to prove him on the spectrum, he compared me to Elon Musk in the meeting, and I would say, yes, I'm on the spectrum somewhat. Let's just get past that. So it's and there is a great YouTube, a Reddit subreddit. It's literally called Aftervanced. Reddit.com/r/Aftervanced, and it is a great place to have all kinds of options surfaced to you. So I have known more than a couple people in the last couple of weeks say NewPipe is broken and it isn't working for them. A couple hours later, they do an update and it's working, but it's really difficult to find something as solid as YouTube DL on the mobile platform, in my opinion, right now. So it's just, I don't know what's going to be the absolute winner. I know NewPipe has a big head start.
Yeah, well, I think the appeal of NewPipe is A, it's open source, B, it's ad free, and if that is a value proposition to you, then you would obviously be willing to provide some money to the developers if that's what they want to receive. Some people are just doing apps out of the sheer pleasure of doing apps. That's what they like to do in their spare time. If you want to get someone who's a developer working full time as a job, they've got to expect a reasonable level of support. And then the old hairy question of monetization comes into it. How do you monetize your product? Do you set up a subscription service? Do you charge per use? Do you use advertising? And then you go round and round the houses with these arguments. The open source community came out of a bunch of programmers who just like to do programming and program cool stuff and didn't expect to get any money for it. There's something they did in their spare time, partly to show off to other developers in their community, but also to provide something free and useful to other people. It's, I suppose, the socialist ideal, really, isn't it? It has its own weaknesses.
Yeah, I definitely think there's some truth to what you said right there. The example I'll use is I showed my wife the Titanic song by Celine Dion music video, but instead of that, it was the Celine Dion music with Smash Mouth, "You're an All-Star" lyrics put into it. And she was like, why don't these people get a job? What do they do? And I said, no, you don't understand. For all you know, this is the person's application showing what kind of skill and talent they have. And that really, I hate to say it, one of the benefits that we get when we digest open source content is a lot of the stuff put out there as open source content is put out there to showcase somebody's talent and ability. So hopefully they get a real job being able to do like things. I know I got 4 years left on my job. I know if when I retire from my 9 to 5, if I want to be a developer of sorts to do anything, any kind of development whatsoever, it's in my best interest to either contribute to something or start something and showcase my code to how good it is, how good it looks. Here's what it is. Here's what it does. Here's how long it took. Blah, 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 blah. And then it makes me look more credible. Josh, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
No, Dor, you're never wrong, man. You're like my wife.
Then, yeah, you don't know my wife.
No, it's exactly what it is. Like that, everyone, you're always looking for something to add to your portfolio, basically. So
I remember back in the 80s, you used to get the floppy disks when the personal computer was first coming into the house, before the days of the internet. You would swap floppy disks with your friends. You had a computer club at school. Maybe 3 people were in, and you'd somehow get hold of these disks and have games on them, and you play games. But the thing about those disks is that they would not be protected. They'd be open, so you could have a look at the programming within the code. You have a look directly at the code, and you could take that code and copy it and do cool stuff on your own. And they encourage other people to start making their own games and start doing stuff. That's the beauty of open source. If you've got the code open to everybody, they can start adopting it and using it for whatever cool stuff they can think of. And as soon as games started becoming worth money, that all got shut off. You got all the code locked off. You got all this proprietary IP law coming in, and suddenly you had no access to that code anymore. And suddenly it became something that nobody had any access to, apart from a few rarefied individuals who'd done a computer science degree.
Well, I think that correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that software was all free in the beginning. Yeah. And it was like you pay an arm and a leg for the hardware, but the software is just thrown in because they didn't realize that the actual value was more in the software than it was in the hardware.
Well, and there was no global distribution of it, so you had to rely on other people to get it. Well,
in the beginning, they were like drug dealers. The software is free. Here, you can see how good it is, but you need the hardware to run it on, kind of thing. And like Mad Dog Hall used to literally make money by taking the punch cards from other computer systems and basically duplicating them and going through his college dorm and selling them, so he had enough money for whiskey because software was free. Here's the example I'm going to use how you are exactly right, and how sometimes people we think don't have the knowledge or understanding actually do. And okay, the example is my wife. She's not literate with computers. She literally, like, every couple of weeks calls me up and says, help, I need help with this Excel spreadsheet. This isn't working. I need to know how this formula works, kind of thing. And it's, I don't want to say it's a Google search away, but it's literally a Google search away. But she was watching The Blacklist, a show with psychotic James Spader in it. Okay. And one of the nerds, who's of course not nerdy at all, made this software platform that somebody was using for nefarious means. So he hacked into the company and deleted stuff. Okay. But earlier in the show, they said someone on a college campus got a copy of the code and they edited it to basically go into this cartel's ecosystem and wreak havoc. And then my wife paused the show and says, how stupid are these people? Don't they understand? Once one copy's made, it doesn't matter if he goes in and deletes the source code. It's already out there. They already have it. And wouldn't this company have backups? Doesn't everybody have backups? So if he goes in and deletes stuff, it's useless. This is pointless. This show is so stupid. And I'm like, oh my God, she's right. And then she said, and no, the real solution, if you want to beat this guy, is you take that source code and you make it open source. Because if everyone can see what it's doing, then everyone knows how to prevent it from attacking their system. I'm just like, I love you. Love you so much. Because it just proves, once again, I married up. I married someone smarter than myself, because she just sat there and just spewed on that. And I'm like, yes, you're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yes, you're exactly right. Would you like a steak for dinner? Yeah. So yes, open source. It isn't only the only way to win, but it's the only way to like succeed in modern terms, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Josh, have you got any new hardware? Apart from that big ball of chrome on your head.
No, I don't believe that I have. I'm not a multi-billionaire like you. I can't afford a new phone every 2 weeks.
Well, this is the carcass of my Sony phone that died a couple of weeks ago. Dropped it on the floor of the supermarket, ground of the supermarket car park.
So would you say it died, or would you say you killed it?
Well, I probably killed it. Oh no, I dropped it on the supermarket. Then a couple of weeks later, I dropped it on the floor after I got out the bath, and that was it. It was dead after that. So it took 2 falls to the floor. I wasn't wearing a case. Probably got what I deserved, but I wasn't going to pay another $700 for another Sony phone because the damn thing was too damn slippery. So I had to compromise my principles and go back to a Chinese manufacturer called Vivo, which is probably the best of a bad choice. So I bought a Vivo Y33S. Now, I'm pretty sure this is also available in America. So it's a dual SIM smartphone with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabyte hard drive. It's got a 50 megapixel AI camera, a 5,000 milliamp battery, 18 watt fast charge. It's got a triple rear camera. It runs on a MediaTek Helio G80. No wireless charging, but it has got a 2K screen, 1080 by 2408 screen, 16 megapixel front-facing camera. It comes with headphones, which are actually really, really good headphones. I was surprised how comfortable they are. I've been able to wear them for more than half an hour without getting sore ears. It's got NFC, it's got USB-C. Doesn't have a rating for water and dust resistance. But I am very, very impressed. The only thing I'm not impressed about is the camera, of course. And we were talking about this before we started the live stream. Camera is not great. It's not the worst I've seen, but it is not great. So if you're looking for a cheap phone that's got all the specs, this is pretty much, and you don't care about the quality of your camera. It takes good bright light. When you're in good lighting conditions, it takes good photos. But yeah, I've definitely had better cameras in the phone. No doubt it will annoy me in the next couple of weeks, and I have to go and get a new one.
So I'm going to guess it's also running Android 12.
Android 11.
Yeah. 11. And can I ask, when you're looking at it, does it seem like it's heavily modified, or does it seem pretty vanilla?
No, very little bloat. Actually, I think it's got one app from Vivo, and there's nothing else from no bloatware. It's straight up Android. So I've got a launcher on it, and it works like a dream.
So if it is available here in the U.S., I don't know which carrier. If I had to guess, it's either going to be an AT&T or a Boost Mobile kind of thing. The only place it sounds like they could cheapen out on the phone is the speed of the internal hard drive, because the 128 internal storage, that's pretty damn good for the price.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess, and like 8 gigs of RAM, man, if your operating system does not run smoothly with 8 gigs of RAM, you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? So the camera with the AI thing, it's just one of those things. It seems like most cameras now, they know that they can't win with hardware alone. They have to have processes going on, post-processing as quick as possible to make the camera good. And that's one of the places where I know it's really hard to compete with the big boys.
Yes. Yeah. Well, time will tell, I suppose. I'm very happy with it. It's a little bit heavy, and it's got quite a large screen, 6.6 inches or 6.58 inch screen. But with that 2K resolution, it actually is not unpleasant to look at.
Well, I prefer a phone to have a little bit of girth to it, just so it's there.
Well, you don't want to be carrying around a floppy disk.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still on the OnePlus Nord N100, and I am like damned. I'm going to make this phone last as long as I possibly can to justify my next phone purchase as being a, better, $400+ phone. I've removed some apps, I've removed some stuff. It does seem like it's running a touch better, but still, if I reboot the phone for at least like 10 hours, if I start playing a podcast at anything except for 1x, which of course everything's not 1x, and the screen goes off and it just becomes unlistenable. To where I have to have the screen on after a reboot for like almost a day to listen to the podcast. Everything else about the phone seems fine in air quotes, except for once in a while I like plug up Android Auto and it literally takes 2 minutes for it to appear on the screen. And then it takes like another 2 minutes to become responsive on the screen, which is, in my opinion, pretty unpalatable kind of thing. To wait 4 minutes from plugging up the phone, hell, half the places I'm already there. You know what I mean? Picking up pizza, picking up, beverages for the wife or whatever. After 4 minutes, I'm pulling into the parking lot already. So what's the point?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got it's got a MediaTek Helio G80, as I mentioned now. I've not noticed any lag or any slowing down. I'm not a huge gamer. I don't tax this phone a lot, so that might be a factor. But I suspect there's nothing that I've thrown at it that hasn't been able to handle so far.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing that was a little bit like scaringly disappointing with this phone was this is like April in Baltimore, which, once in a while you have a day over 80 degrees, pushing like, I think like 28 and whatever degrees the rest of the world uses. But one time I got in my car at work and it was definitely a touch warm in the car, but it wasn't hot. And I put the phone and I plugged up the Android Auto and I immediately got an overheat warning and they basically shut everything down. It reset everything except for Android Auto. So when I got out of the car at home, I noticed I was signed out of everything. Everything was like killed. And I'm like, it's April. Imagine if I lived in like, Florida, Hawaii, India kind of thing in the middle of August. Like, wow, this would not be an acceptable experience for those kinds of places.
Yeah. Red in the chat's just made a very good point. I'll happily take a large phone and have a removable battery. You think we'll ever get removable batteries back?
Normal consumer grade phones, probably not.
Never. No, they're not coming back.
No, but I will say if you go out of your way to buy something like a fair phone or something, then the answer is yes. After I nearly make a complete disaster.
Did you lose your drink?
Yes, Monster.
Oh, wasn't the vodka then?
No.
Sponsored by good. Monster Green Energy Drink.
Mm-hmm.
How's it taste, Door?
Ultra Paradise. I want to say it's technically supposed to be a guava flavored, maybe. It's not mango, I'll tell you that, because the one that was mango, I like couldn't digest.
Tastes like an Australian's armpit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just holding out on buying hardware now. The only thing even remotely close is I've seen a lot of now portable game systems on YouTube that are like Nintendo Switch sized, that are running MediaTek chips and other ROC chips that are running Android on them. And I am just going to say, I am genuinely shocked at how well some of them run for only being like 140, 150 US dollars. I'm not jumping on any of them yet. I'm doing my best to hold out because to me, I don't care about modern gaming. I don't care about Android gaming for the most part. I only care about retro gaming. How good can I play like PS2 titles kind of thing, Nintendo 64 titles. So I'm just going to keep holding out and keep waiting for that, in air quote, perfect device to come out.
Time Splitters, Door. Time Splitters.
Yeah, that's on PS1, I believe.
No, PS2.
PS2, okay. Well, that and GoldenEye now. Tangent. GoldenEye Nintendo 64 was one of those games you either were in love with it and you loved shooting your friends in the face, or you don't have no idea what I'm talking about. In January, Rare, the company, was bought by Microsoft. Microsoft said that they're going to release GoldenEye on basically every platform within the next 2 years. If they have network play, shoot, bang, bang, I actually start by playing more than like 20 minutes of games a week. Just saying.
Yeah, GoldenEye was a classic. I mean, that was a very popular game.
Yeah, that was an amazing game. Grenade launchers in the grenade launchers in the temple.
Mm-hmm. Them in the remote detonated mines too. That was good. Because you would watch the other person's screen. Oh, he's there. Click the button.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You may have noticed I've been a little bit harsh on Josh today, mainly because one of the reasons for that is not only his appearance, but the way one of the things he said in the last episode that 3 weeks ago, when you guys were on your own and I was in the chat, was that he was saying that iPhones seem to be better or more advanced than the current range of Android. Would you like to sort of clarify those comments for us there, Josh?
I don't think I ever said that. I think that
you drunk?
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Have you stopped beating your wife yet? Yes or no?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, it was very well verbed how he did it. It was like iPhone still seemed to get things first, kind of thing, from developer company standpoint.
Well, there's no evidence of any of this, so.
Well, I would just like to provide people, our audience, our listeners, with a reminder that this is, in my experience, not the case. Android has always been first to the party with a lot of features that iPhone doesn't have, never had, and probably never will have. Custom wallpapers, changing out default apps, custom launchers, third-party keyboards, LED flashes on the camera.
Well, most of that was
NFC.
Most of that is operating system functionality and hardware functionality. I think he was talking more like when a company comes to market, they seem to prioritize iOS development versus Android development.
Yeah, well, it's a bigger market, isn't it? But
yeah, and that's all I was saying.
It depends. In the U.S.,
well, actually, it's not a bigger market.
Right. In the U.S., I think it's an easier market. Worldwide, Android's destroying Apple. Apple's not even close.
Well, iOS makes more money from its phones, so in its app store. But
Hitler killed
the
more
number
people
of users, anyways, things like OTA updates, quick access panel, predictive typing, guest user accounts, notification bars, expandable storage.
The easiest functionality to say that we had before them was literally copy and paste between applications. We had that for like 3 years before they had it.
Yep.
It's like, how the hell did they survive? How did they use that thing for anything if you couldn't copy and paste between the application?
It doesn't matter what it functions like, though. It's the way that it looks in your hand.
Well, I will say, and my wife even pointed this out to me, why is it that every single iPhone case has a hole in the back so you can see their, just quoting my wife, douchey logo? And I was like, because that's the point. You know, half of owning this device isn't owning this device. Half of owning this device is saying, look what I own. It's like click activism. I want to change my avatar to this month because I support, this country and whatever. It's like clicktivism, click activism. It's like bullcrap. I don't. And the same exact thing. When I walk around with a T-shirt, I never want my T-shirt to spout an organization name, a company name, sports team name, any of those things, because they're not paying me to wear the shirt.
No,
You know,
you're
saying-
paying them. You're paying
Or-
them to wear the shirt most of
Right.
the time.
And that's why, like, when I wear a hat, it's either going to be like a Podnutz hat, a hat that was gifted to me by like Eric Ardini, or like literally a Nintendo 64 branded hat, because I'm a damn fan of Nintendo 64. But you know, I'm not going to wear a Under Armour shirt and prounce around like I have some connection with Under Armour. I mean, even if I worked for them, I wouldn't wear their damn shirt.
They probably pay you not to wear it.
I don't know. I mean, put it this way, I work for a government institution. Every like year or so, they give us like polo shirts and stuff with the logo on it. I'm not wearing this in public. Are you crazy? I don't want people to know where I work.
work for the DMV.
Because they might punch me. You know, I got there last week. You guys screwed me. Oh, you know, no, nope, not me.
I think one of the terms that you might have been fishing for there was virtue signaling.
Yeah.
You know, with all the change your avatar to this or whatever's
It's
the
kind
soup
of
du
virtue
jour.
Yeah, that is definitely virtue signaling. But the advertising that I own an iPhone and I've got my douchey logo in front of everybody taking pictures, it's like, so you have more money. Whoopee.
So then here's a stupid question. Both of you guys have access to Netflix, right?
Yeah.
No, I cancel. Oh, yeah, I canceled all my subscriptions,
Even Netflix?
even Netflix.
So you're the reason they lost money. Okay. There's a new thing on Netflix. I don't know if it's outside the country. That's why I wanted to bring it up. There's an app that's popular called Trivia Crack that I never heard of. And they have a version of it on Netflix where it's literally interactive, where you go through trivia games. I want to say it's called Trivia Quiz on Netflix. I think it is. And every like week, the wife will call me, tell me to sit there with her, and we go through like 6 episodes back to back. I'm really happy when it's me and her. Literally, we get like 12 out of 12 or like 11 out of 12 almost every single time. I don't know if that means the quiz is too easy or we are really surrounded by a bunch of stupid people.
Yes and yes.
Well, and that's the thing. When I said that to her, she said, "Why not both?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should probably replace Ivor with your wife on this show.
No.
Better look at
Read my lips. Not gonna happen.
Would not be prudent at this juncture.
We're opening auditions next week.
1,000 points of light.
Is that Dana Carvey?
Dana Carvey as George Bush. Oh man. And then he went from that to like Master of Disguise. I mean, was he on drugs?
My kids loved that program. Loved that show.
Master of Disguise?
Yeah, I thought it was the best
That
movie ever.
movie was horrible.
Of course it was, but they thought it was great. They were like 9 years old at the time.
Okay, yeah, kids. Okay. Kid logic, can't argue. Put my hands up. Good.
Oh, I'm just speaking of Google functionality, Android functionality. There's an article here that Google is removing all call recording apps from May the 11th.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say it, almost 80% of the places in the world, it's illegal to record a phone call without consent.
Yeah, but who cares about that?
Apparently, Google.
When was the last time you saw anybody prosecuted for recording a phone call? They didn't have consent
Here
to
in
record?
Maryland, it happens a lot.
Really? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's
Really?
why states like Maryland are the reason why 99% of the time when you see video footage from a security camera, there's no audio. Because you cannot record any audio anywhere without express consent from both parties, at least here in Maryland. And that's the case for at least 60% of the states in the U.S. I want to say it's almost 70. And in the world, it's almost 80% of the world. For some reason, voice is like protected. So it's like Google's just bowing down to, I guess, world governmental pressures.
Well, the thing is, with this particular change, if your phone came with a native dialer that included that functionality in the first place, it can still record phone calls on that app. But if you're using a third-party app, then you won't have access to that API. And that's been cut off on May the 11th. I mean, I recorded all my phone calls for a while, but I did go back to one or two of them to get important details of like a meeting or something like that. But now I just don't. So,
Well, if you're paying $3.99 a minute, yeah, you probably should record it so that you can listen back.
get your money's worth.
Well,
Yes.
wait, could that be something that's on F-Droid or side loaded onto, or are they somehow locking down the
Well, I
hardware?
imagine you have to root your phone now to get that access.
Yeah, they're literally blocking the API. So quite literally, when the system recognizes a phone call is on, you will not be able to hit record audio in any application without root. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If it's really, really important to you, there's an easy solution, and it's called the analog loophole. You get a second phone, you sandwich it next to the other phone, and on one phone you hit accept call, and on the other phone you hit record, and there's nothing they can do to stop you.
Thought you were going to say use an iPhone.
No, I'm pretty sure it's been blocked on iPhone since day one.
Oh, funny that. Bloody iPhones. Oh, Door's deserting us.
Yeah,
Never mind.
He's probably wise. Should we
Oh,
talk
so-
about him? Should we talk about him when
Let's
he's
talk
not
about
here?
him his back while he's not here. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll never know.
Red saying Cube ACR works if you don't use an earpiece. I was using an app called ACR. Is that the same one, Red? Not sure. I've not heard of Cube ACR. Is that a different?
No.
I'll have to check that out. How about an app? Should we do an app there, Josh?
Yeah,
an
we
app?
could do that. Yeah, this sort of goes back to the emails a bit. This is called
Door's
a
back.
Kiwi Browser.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, I was looking for a way to avoid YouTube ads. And so Door had put me in the direction of the sponsor block. And it's an extension for your browser. And so I basically downloaded this browser in order to be able to, because this browser allows for extensions on Android based on Chromium. And so I was able to put the extension on there. So it's Kiwi Browser Fast and Quiet by Geometry OU under Communication E for rated E for everyone. And it has an average of 4.3 stars out of 69,433 reviews. Last updated April 27th, 2022. So yesterday, 10 million plus installs. Requires Android 6 and up. Current version is just a soup of numbers. And then, looks like every permission that your phone has. So that's all I've really used it for. I'm quite happy with using Brave most of the time. And it seemed to work like the first time I watched a YouTube video on it. And then now it doesn't seem to even work anymore. So, I don't know.
Did you see the irony? I don't know if it's the right use of that word. You downloaded Kiwi Browser to avoid YouTube ads, yet in the right below the content rating, it says this app contains ads. So maybe by downloading this app to avoid YouTube ads, you got shifted to another set of ads?
Yeah, maybe they just put their own ads into YouTube.
Possible.
These aren't YouTube ads. These are our ads. They look exactly the same, and they're in the same
And hijacking.
location.
Being hijacked.
Yeah. We just piped them in instead. Ad swap. Our Kiwi browser now features ad swap.
Although it's called Kiwi Browser, it's actually nothing to do with New Zealand. It's made in Estonia. Just putting that out there. Nothing to do with New Zealand, except brown.
Maybe the guy's from New Zealand and he moved to Estonia.
Well, yeah, could be. Or it's a tax dodge.
Or it's a tax dodge. Yeah, that's probably possible.
But I've used Kiwi Browser before. It's actually a very good browser. It was when a couple of years ago when I first used it. But for some reason I stopped using it. I've been using that one that Door sent me, which was Firefox Nightly. It's actually really good. I like the Firefox Nightly one as well. Cool. Door, have you got any ads? Any apps?
Any ads? Yeah, I got some ads.
On the ads today.
Brought to you by Monster Guava.
Yeah.
Pretty sweat.
Yeah. What I'm going to bring is actually like a website / apps / whatever. You can play this in your browser or Google Play or Apple App Store or Amazon App Store or Huawei App Store or something called Wiki English. I don't know. It's called, I believe, Nanograms Katana. It's difficult for me in an audio podcast to describe exactly what's going on here. What I'll say is it's kind of a cross between Minesweeper, Sudoku, and I don't know, something else. The long and the short of it is you're presented with numbers, horizontal and vertical. Okay. And sometimes it's like 1, 1, 1. Sometimes it's 5. If there's only 5 rows across and the number's 5, you know it's completely filled. When you see like the number 1 and then a space and then 1, then space, you know that there's not going to be more than one connecting thing at a time. And I know this is really hard for me to describe. Basically, this is like mental gymnastics on how to do, like, you're basically creating pixel art, is what I'll say, via this game. Now, in the very beginning, it's very easy, 5x5 grids, but it does go up in difficulty to where it's literally like insane kind of math. And the example I'll use is, once you started playing Minesweeper, it took you a while to realize, well, if this number's 3, it has to be this. If the number's 4, it has to be that or that. If the number's 5, it has to be this. And if you're, those kinds of like equations have to go into your mind. The exact same kind of math representation graphically is in this game. The example I'll use is if you see it says 1 space 1 space 1. The spaces count as 1, 2. So 1 plus 1 space plus 1 plus 1 space plus 1 is 5. And there's only 5 things. So you know it has to be dot, space, dot, space, dot. And again, it's really hard for me to describe what's going on here if you don't check it out yourself and you don't try to at least play a game or two. Again, the classical term is nanograms, Nonograms. There are versions of this on modern day platforms. A lot of the times it's called Picross, Picross. Everything PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Nintendo Switch has this kind of game on it. It's a classical Japanese like mind game is the way I'll put it. They of course claim in typical fashion, keep your brain sharp by playing this game. No, it's just a game that's not the normal kind of punch, shoot, kill. It's just a game where you have to actually count.
Well, it says something about a guild expansion here too, Dor. Did you join a guild and go raiding?
Didn't join a guild, didn't create an account. I just said play game. It keeps bugging me to sign in and create an account, but no, I just play. And then every now and then I go through the settings in my cache and say reset. So everything is marked as new and just, have fun.
The website does a good job of describing how it works, I think. It says these are picture logic puzzles in which cells in a grid must be colored or left blank according to numbers at the side of the grid to reveal a hidden picture.
Do you ever find the picture first, or like realize what it is, and then just start clicking away to finish the picture?
Not really. It's typically a little bit more, I'll just say difficult than that. Because to me, the picture never really comes like apparent until you're really, really close to the end, unless it's a super high res one where it's like literally like 20 by 20. But by then, it's very easy for a pixel to be shifted, so you still have to go through the math. But yeah, I'll just put it like this. I had a lot of fun the first time I discovered these and what they are. It's the kind of thing, if you really want to stay busy, and not play something completely pointless, like shooting and banging things, then this I think would be fun.
I wouldn't say banging things is completely pointless.
Well, it can be.
Oh boy, is this that pill discussion again, Dor?
I don't need no pills.
Rehearsals next week, folks. Auditions.
Do you have any apps, Ivor?
I do, yeah. The one I've got here is called Truxxilla. And this is not a game, although I wish it was. Truxxilla is a food and ice cream truck finder. Now that we're still languishing, maybe some of us are still languishing under the fear of COVID. You don't want to go and sit in a restaurant. You want to go and find a food truck. A lot of restaurants actually been going out into food trucks and delivering food to the public. So, way to find your best food truck or your most favorite or some of the better food trucks available is to use this app. So it's basically you can record your favorite food trucks. You can search for closest food trucks, for the closest food trucks around you. Use your location permission to find what food trucks are around you. They actually have to be part of this app as well if you want to do that. You can search by category of food or whatever you're looking for, or the name of the truck. There's also those options there, and it's got a QR code scanner as well, so you can quickly add the truck's details to the app. It's a very simple, basic app, and it's kind of like if you want to know when the ice cream truck is coming to your neighborhood, you could use this app and be ready with your change.
So does it track the truck? Because an ice cream truck doesn't really just stay still. So
well, what it does is it says these trucks are within 2 miles of your area. You can change the distance that it specifies. So you can go from 2 to 10 miles around you, and we'll tell you which food trucks are there.
So the truck driver has their account, and then this just tracks their movements, I guess, and let you know where the truck is.
Yeah.
Or when it gets into your geolocation that you've set.
Yeah, the truck driver, I imagine, has the app as well, so he's got all his details recorded there. It geolocates him and tells you when he's near you. It doesn't work it does work in my country, but there are no food trucks around me in my area. Imagine if I lived in Auckland or a more built-up area, then it would, but at the moment, no.
Your food truck is your own truck when you're driving home from the store.
Exactly. Well, I thought it might be useful to some people who want a quick bite or want a treat and they want to see what's around them. You can use this one.
Yeah, my only wondering is, do the food truck people have to pay a fee to be a part of this, or is it free? I would hope it's free. But I'll also say this is like a trend from literally episode 1, Ivor, and it seems like the more populated of an area you're in, the more likely you'll be able to have these apps like make sense for you to use and play with. But like by me, I don't think there's a single food truck within at least like 8 to 10 miles of my house. Now, if I was at work in like downtown Glen Burnie kind of thing, I'm sure there's food trucks around there. Hell, I remember one time looking out the window and seeing a woman food truck pull up and park, and then the guy food truck pull up and park and say, "This is my spot. I've been parked here for years." And they literally got in a fist fight outside my job. That was entertaining as hell.
Oh, wow. This would be to tell you when there's a fight going on. Food truck fight.
I'm just wondering what food is in a woman's food truck.
I want to say all she had was Greek gyros, and like hot dogs. Wasn't very good. He had good food. He had like cheesesteaks and stuff.
So it wasn't like a truck specifically for women. It was
No, it was woman
woman-run-
owned and operated. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now after that fiasco, now we have bougie sponsored food trucks that once a week come to our place where they want you to like come out and order like a seafood something for $20 out of a food truck. I'm thinking to myself, no. I'll drive for 8 minutes, go to the local place I know and trust that's been there for like 40 years and buy my crab stuff or my seafood stuff for $15 and save money.
There's a big thing in Vancouver a few years back that people were starting to really get angry with the food trucks, or the restaurants were, because they had a different license than they had to get or something like that. So they were unfair competition to the restaurants.
Yeah, we had the same kind of thing here, to which I do remember the county executive saying, "Can I ask you what in life is fair?" And the restaurant owner just dead stared. And he was like, "Nothing." Yeah. I'm pretty sure he got voted out of office.
How can a food truck be compared to a restaurant? You know,
I'm going to go with food.
No, but they're different things. They serve food.
Yeah.
They're just different. They're different experience. You go to a restaurant for a different experience than you would to go to a food. I'm not going to take my wife to a food truck for a romantic meal.
Well, that's probably why she doesn't like you.
I was going to say, it all depends on the woman.
I was leading with my chin on that one, wasn't I?
Because like I remember before my first date, I told my wife I was going to take her to the finest Scottish restaurant in town. She was kind of upset when she found out it was McDonald's.
I mean, I've found that you can get diarrhea from either, so
yep,
it doesn't really matter.
Cha-cha.
Okay. What you got for us, Josh? You got any more?
Oh, back to me, huh?
Back to you.
Yeah, I've got one that was. So I had talked about before the permaculture food forest. And so I was working with someone in Calgary, which is nowhere near here, that was doing the design. And so I was trying to get her as much information and data as I could on our property. And so I found I did a different app before this one, which was great, and it basically, you're creating a map with your video. So I guess this is GPS map video camera, and by GPS map camera under photography, and it contains ads, and they're absolutely annoying, extremely annoying. It was updated March 16th, 2022, 13 megs in size, 100,000 plus installs, version 1.1.2, requires Android 5.0 and up. And it has in-app purchase of $8.49, which is to unlock it basically and remove the ads, and then you get some additional functionality. And so the point that I wanted, or the reason I wanted to use this, was so that I could walk around our property and show the landscape and have the GPS coordinates for that, so that she could use a Google Earth map or something and be able to track on that map where I was, and then have like a ground level view of the area. I don't know if this is making sense at all, but and so I used this, and it was actually, besides the extremely annoying ads, it was a pretty good experience. I did one whole video of the property line, and then I tried to do another video and it crapped out, but the first one worked. And so I had used a different one already and tried that once, and I really liked the way that one worked. And it had a really nice map, and it would show you moving on the map really well, and with the video. But I could not for the life of me figure out how to get it off of the phone. Like it had the two separate files that you could play it together on the phone, but once you took both of them off of the phone, it was just no easy way. I spent way too long trying to sort out how to get both of them visually represented on a single screen off of the phone.
Okay.
So yeah, it's quite interesting. I don't, if you have a use case for it, it was quite good.
So you would take videos and then figure out where it would show you while you're watching the video what the GPS location was on a map.
Yeah, it has a little map. It has a little map as well.
Okay.
Just not as good as the other one. And so yeah, it as you're watching the video, it'll show you what the GPS data from the video, and you can have the compass and other things as well. So you can look, watching the video, you can see that, okay, now the camera's facing south or the camera's facing west.
Yeah, I'll say the only way I think around it would have been the easiest way around it, but you would have lost fidelity would be in the app to play the video and then to do a screen recording and then save that out, which would have been a real pain in the butt is what I'll say.
Yeah, and it's just not, it ended up being garbage, I think. Like this solved the problem.
Gotcha.
On the other app.
And I don't know if it's me, but the last at least 6 phones I've had, the compasses don't seem to be great. Where every now and then when I open up now Google Maps, it tells me to do the figure 8 movement.
No, I hate that.
To recalibrate the compass. And every now and then I'm driving home and I see the map going, like jerking all around the place, kind of thing. But I will say one line of this app description, it's like, no, this is not how this is supposed to work. And it says, why should you have a GPS video camera stamp app? Down like 6 lines, in-app support for your issues. So if you don't pay for their support, they're not going to take care of your issues, is what it's saying. That's not a reason for us to use it. That's a reason for you to get money. But I digress. I will say I definitely see a definite use case for this. The only question is like how fine grain can you actually get on the map? Because like my property is nothing. And if I try to do this, if I try to walk the border of my property, will it even be discernible? You know what I mean? On that little thumbnail size of a map. Now I'm going to guess the bigger the property you have, the more valuable that this could be.
Yeah. That part, like the first one I used was really good. It was zoomed in and it showed you, like it did show your whole route. Whereas this one, and I might not have done it correctly, but it sort of just showed a property with a pin in it as to like, this is where you're at. So I'm not sure how fine grained this one goes. I was just more trying to get the actual GPS data so that, like you say, okay, there's a maple tree there. Where is it on the property? Okay, it's here. Or, like this area is extremely wet, blah, blah, blah.
Reminds me of a dash cam app you could use for recording your drive in a car. I remember a while ago, there was an app that would show you the footage from the camera and then show you a map of where you were driving according to the GPS location. But that never worked for me, that particular app. Can't remember what it was called now. But something like that, like this on a dashboard camera app would be good.
Are you telling me that this isn't a crap app, Ivor?
Oh, it seems fairly useful.
Whoa. I finally got one.
You finally got one. Yeah. I suppose you could try and mount this on your phone, and when your phone's mounted in the car, you could try and use it in your car. Or did you already say that?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, sorry. So you could stick it in your car and take a drive.
Yeah, try it out. You're assuming I have a car.
Or your tractor.
Yeah, there you go.
I can mount it on my sheep. See what they want to do at night.
It's not the first time I've ever heard you say mount and sheep in the same sentence.
Auditions here next week, folks. 2 new hosts.
How did you guys get banned from YouTube?
We're not banned in New Zealand.
Nope. Nobody knows we're here. In New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm looking at the I did.
We're all iPhone users here.
I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I downloaded five of these type of apps to try to find one that would work, and this was the best one out of them.
Gotcha.
Cool. Oh, I'll definitely give that a go, I think. Right, whose turn is it?
Door.
Mine? Door.
I think it's Doors.
Okay. What I got next is it stems from an interview I heard from Jimmy Wales, the guy behind Wikipedia. And it's wt.social is the actual website. And on the website, this is their description. wt.social, the non-toxic social network. Welcome to a place where advertisers don't call the shots, where your data isn't packaged up and sold, where you, not algorithms, decide what to see, where you can directly edit misleading content, where bad actors are kicked out and kept out, where you actually like spending time. Welcome to the social media the way it should be. Welcome to WT Social. Now, after listening to the interview, this makes more sense. The reason he believes Wikipedia is less polluted than places like Twitter or Facebook is Facebook and Twitter, you just have people spouting off opinions about stuff. WT Social and Wikipedia, both, you have people who are going towards certain content types. Like, for instance, if I want to join Wikipedia and I want to edit stuff about Tottenham Hotspot or soccer team, that's where I'm going to go. And I'm not going on and editing information about Donald Trump. I'm not going on and editing information about climate change. I'm worrying about that soccer team. Okay. Same kind of thing with this social network. The onboarding process, you have to pick topics that you're interested in, and they're really not topics. Think of them as their independent message boards. So hypothetically, you can log in, register, and say, I don't want to see anything political. I don't want to see anything like, in air quote, controversial. I just want to see tech, open source, operating system, security, and that's all you're ever going to see. So you're never going to be, seeing the fact that this guy you're following in security also won't stop posting how Monsanto is poisoning his children, because that's not going to be posted in the security technology part that you're in. You know what I mean? Or they keep posting how the president isn't an actual human being. They're actually lizard people. So you don't have to see that kind of thing. Okay.
That's not true.
Well, they didn't say it wasn't true. I just said I didn't want to see it. Number one. Number two. So I'll just ask you guys just for giggles. Elon Musk buying Twitter. Do you even care?
It's hard to.
Yeah, I don't care.
No, I do. I like when things get shaken up a little bit. I mean, what's going to change or what's going to happen? Who knows? I mean, he seems to have gotten pretty lucky in everything he's done.
I don't know. I don't know if it's luck. I don't like him as a person at all. He works his butt off. Number one. He literally like was over 100 hours a week for like 5 years straight at Tesla, kind of thing. That's not luck. That is hard damn work.
It takes some luck to.
Yeah, luck doesn't exist. There's no such thing as luck. Next.
Okay, hold on. Air quotes, door luck.
No, yeah. And I like him saying he's a free speech absolutionist. And I say that because I like coming into an environment and as quick as possible being able to point and saying, I don't like that person. That only comes with absolute free speech, is what I'll say. I like being able to identify jerks and just, a-holes. I like being able to identify them as quick as possible. And with free speech, that's possible, is what I'll say. Now, with that said, this is an independent company. Free speech rules don't apply. Okay? If they want to ban people, if they want to kick people, I don't have to go on there ever and partake in any of their nonsensical communications. So him buying it, I'll just say, don't be shocked if him buying it turns out he can make a profit where this place has never, I want to say 1 quarter in their existence, they made a profit. And that's it. They've never made a profit since. Don't be shocked if he buys it and he figures out a way to make a profit that isn't you're completely covered in ads kind of way.
Yeah. I think Twitter is kind of overblown and it's important. A lot of the news I see today is basically what people said on Twitter, and why that ever is newsworthy is a mystery to me. So there's that to start with. The thing about free speech is that, and a private company aspect is that private company enjoys Section 230 protections, and as soon as they start becoming editors of content rather than being a platform that allows speech within the context of the law, so it's okay if they chuck out stuff that doesn't meet legal boundaries, is beyond legal boundaries, that's fine. But if they start censoring stuff, which they obviously have,
Right.
then they shouldn't really have the protections of the Section 230. So they have to make a decision whether they want to be protected under 230 or not. And I think that's the big question for Elon.
Yeah, and I mean, what I'm going to paraphrase is a podcast that used to be called Pessimist Archived. It's now called Built for Tomorrow. And I'm going to paraphrase one of the things he went over like 5 years ago in one of his shows. And that was how not only do we always invent new words, but we are constantly redefining words that we think we know what they mean. Your definitions are always changing. And his example was about 300 years ago, freedom of speech did not mean you had the freedom to say whatever you wanted. What it meant was I had the freedom to not hear what you're saying, kind of thing. To where if you were screaming something in the public square that people didn't agree with, they could shut you down because that's freedom of speech. Freedom, I don't have to hear your kind of speech, kind of thing. And that was how it was perceived for literally like 100 years there in the past. And nowadays we take it as meaning I can say whatever I want to say and you can't say anything about it as a government is concerned. So obviously to me, it's interesting how those kinds of things happen. So I'll just say this, if you're triggered anytime you go on Twitter, if you go on Facebook and you have that one psychotic uncle that you really would like to choke and kill because you won't shut up about X, Y, or Z, maybe you should check out WT Social. Now, the real reason I'm saying that is because that was one of the things I liked about Google Plus. We didn't have those extremely undereducated family members just spewing off stuff that they never looked up, they never researched, they never looked into, and they just believe as being a fact, whether it be none of this technology wouldn't have existed if we didn't steal alien technology from Roswell, or that this president is the worst president that's ever existed in all of time kind of thing. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. So I'm going to check out WT Social. I doubt if I'm going to be on there for long just because I'm not a social kind of fella.
Yeah, the only thing that I use Twitter for is so that I can get updates on Tottenham Hotspot.
They're in the Premier League, don't you know?
the primarily.
Yeah. And like, here's the real reason I'm bringing this up. Why didn't Elon Musk just create his own thing? He has enough money. You know
Well,
what
yeah,
I mean?
he does have his own money, but it's also like apparently he got a bit irked that they banned the Babylon Bee, and that set him off because they shut down the Babylon Bee.
What's the Babylon Bee?
It's like the Onion, but even better. Like the Babylon Bee is some funny stuff. So there was they had a tweet on there about somebody who anyway.
Rachel Levine. They made Rachel Levine Man of the Year.
Yeah, Rachel Levine Man of the Year. And then Twitter shut them down and said that they had to delete the tweet in order for them to get their account back, and they said they weren't going to do it, and blah blah blah. And then Musk, that set him over the edge apparently, or got him more interested in.
He is on the spectrum, so you'll have that.
There's also the other thing is it's easier to buy than build. So if you want to get into that space,
$44 billion though.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, Ivor. I'm not going to say you're wrong. What I will say is there's enough open source code out there. He could have easily built something far superior than Twitter. The problem is how long would it take to become with as many users as a platform like Twitter?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the user. The user base for sure.
Yeah, but I don't want Ashton Kutcher.
Does he play for the Tottenham Hotspot?
No, he's a crappy actor who's married to a Ukrainian who's on Twitter.
I thought he was married to, what's her name?
She's a Ukrainian.
No. He was on that 70s show. He was brilliant on that.
No, the Demi Moore. She's not Ukrainian.
No. Oh, wait, you're right. Not her.
He was married to her before.
Yeah. The other girl from that show that he dated early on, she's Ukrainian. You know, the slutty one.
You're going to have to narrow it down for us, Steve.
I know. The non-redheaded slutty one?
Oh, yeah. She's Meg on Family Guy.
Yes.
Meg. Yeah. Anyway.
The ranch is pretty decent as well. I quite enjoyed that one.
The ranch?
Yeah, the ranch. It's Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher, right.
And Sam Elliott. And
he's always good.
Yeah, and then Hyde from that 70s show.
Talk about a guy in trouble. Oof.
Yeah, he was on that. They were doing that show, and then all of a sudden, what happened to him? Oh, he died.
Yeah. Legal troubles.
No, I didn't hear about this.
And Deborah Winger's in there as well.
Yeah, I digress. So bring us another wrap there.
Okay, I've got nap.
Boring.
Unless it's about sheep.
Hey, this is about sharks, not sheep, sharks. Are you afraid of sharks?
No.
Are you worried about what's going to happen if you get into the ocean? Actually, no. This is, I'm going to share my screen. This is called OSearch Shark Tracker by osearch.org. Basically, it's an app that there you go. Shows you where there are sharks in the ocean. Now, not all sharks, obviously just the tagged ones, but they tend to hang out in groups. So you can check out where. So, well, let's see if there's any off the coast of Maryland. You're a coastal area. You're not a coastal area there.
I mean, if you want to be paranoid, this is the app. This is the app right here.
Yeah, right.
So basically, it shows you the where you are on your location, and it shows you if there are any sharks in the neighborhood.
You got no sharks down there.
We've got no sharks around here. We've got plenty around Australia, though.
But a baby shark, maybe?
Oh, jeez.
So let's just have a look at Philip. Philip is a shark that's traveled 29,391 miles. Philip is actually a female. You can see down there. Sex is female.
He seems confused. I'm just saying.
So I think we've got our first trans shark.
Pretty sure that he was Babylon's Bee male shark of the year.
So basically, this app allows you to explore the migration habits of tagged sharks. You can click on a shark, it gives you a profile like I've just showed you there with Philip. You can add it to your favorites. It gives details of its weight, height, not height, but sex and stage of life. It tells you whether it's a mature or immature shark. Tells you, it gives a bit of backstory on the shark, how it got its name, etc. What kind of shark it is, etc. And it allows you to track. I think shows you the actual track of the movements. So this is supposed to show me the track, but it's not for some reason. It does work. On the front page, we've got basically all these basically news updates about different sharks and what they're doing. Then you can have a look at individual animals. We've got Nomad and Nahi and Ali Bell. You've got turtles as well. You've got turtles and dolphins and all sorts of other creatures, not just sharks. So you can check out those. We've got if you're interested in that. We've got recent pings up the top here. You can specify the sort of creatures you're interested in looking at and how recent the pings were. You can, as I said, add it to your favorites. And we've got details. This is really just their social media and the online shop. I thought this was a fantastic app because it basically, what happened to the tracking options? I want to show you how I think, yeah, show my track. There you go. Let's have a look at Philip's track. You can see how far they travel around the world. This one's been a hell of a long way and the sort of places they go. So you can see they go all around the Coral Sea and then you can go and sort of zoom in and zoom out all the places that they've been. So I thought a fascinating app and a way to get to know the sea life in your area, and also handy to check before you go into the beach.
Yet another reason to get a pool. Just saying.
Another reason to get a pool.
Philip.
Sit.
It's spelled interestingly too.
Yeah, so yeah, it's OCEAN, O-Search, sorry, OCEARCH, Shark Tracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I don't need any more fuel for my paranoia. I'll say that. I'm going to bring this one only because it's the kind of thing I feel like I got to bring it. But part of the reason I got to bring it is just to point out, do we really need another one? This is Area by Autodesk Inc. Social. Under Social, everyone 10 and up, completely free, no in-app ads, no in-app purchases, no reviews. It's that new. Updated April 19th, 2022, size 42 megs, 500 installs. Autodesk is a major corporation. I'm not going to say they're as big as Microsoft, Apple, or Oracle. Autodesk is a major company that's been around for a long time. So to only have 500 installs tells you this thing is like fresh out the womb kind of thing. Current version 1.0.11 requires 5.0 Android and up, content rating, everyone 10 and up. Permissions, I'm sure it's going to be photos, media storage, camera, Wi-Fi, all kinds of things. The first line of the description, I'm pretty sure, describes it pretty clearly. What is Area? Designed for 3D professionals across film, TV, games, and design visualization industries. Area is a 3D community for all who want to learn, connect, and inspire, whether you're in an industry veteran or just getting started in the world of 3D art, Area is the place to find inspiration, hone your craft, and connect with a community of like-minded artists from across the globe. This is your area. So, this is another siloed social network. This one is focused on everything you can do with Autodesk software, I want to say, whether it's AutoCAD or any of those kinds of tools to create either like engineering things, 3D printing things, or even like CGI type special effects kind of thing. So basically, in all kinds of 3D art or engineering kind of thing, if you want to connect with people who are doing that, learn from them kind of thing, see what others are doing, showcase your talent and ability kind of thing, then you need Area from Autodesk. If you don't even know what Autodesk is, let's go to the next app because it means nothing.
I'm not sure I really understood what it is. Sorry, Door.
It's just a siloed social networking app
Ah.
for those who are only interested in basically Autodesk type applications. And
Right.
those applications,
What is an Autodesk application?
the big one is AutoCAD.
Oh, of course.
AutoCAD is the application where you can, on a 2D plane, make a sketch, and then you can extrude to a third dimension.
Right.
And then you can take those and you can import them into other tools like Blender or other things to have CGI type effects.
Wow. So you can show off the cool stuff you can do on CAD.
Yeah. And it's one of those things.
Blender.
The people who are really good at this, there's a reason why, like the Avengers movie cost as much as it cost to be made, because somebody really talented did something in an afternoon that would take the average person a month to do, kind of thing. And it's because they're so adept at using Autodesk type applications.
Wow. Do you do much on Blender?
I opened Blender once, looked at it, said, interesting, closed it, uninstalled it.
Yeah, I've spent a little bit of time, but that's got to be one of the most intricate, option-filled, incredible open source projects that's out there.
Yeah, quite literally, basically any movie in the last 10 years, it's a very safe gamble to say something in that movie was created using Blender.
Yeah, the only thing I can really make in Blender is a margarita.
Oh boy. Okay, Josh, your turn.
This one was brought actually during the show from Red in the chat, who seems to be in there by himself. Your brother's not even in there, man. Your family doesn't even love you, Ivor.
Yeah, he's got COVID, stuck at home. So yeah.
Well, yeah. So why would he want to be?
It should be. Yeah. It should be here. I did let him know, but he's obviously busy for some reason.
So this is Call Recorder Cube ACR by Cube Apps Limited under Tools. It has 691,872 reviews and a 4.1 average review. And it was updated April 15th, 2022. 11 megs in size, 10 million plus installs. Current version 2.3.223. Requires 4.4 and up. Permissions, everything that is under the sun. And so he said that it is a call recording app. So it says it records phone calls and VoIP. So yeah, it's a free, but I guess Red just likes to break the law in several states. Go get him, Red. Breaking the law.
Yeah, and I'll just say that if this is important to you, then I definitely encourage you, don't buy a new phone. Don't buy anything that will get like Android 13 on it. And more than likely look at ways of rooting and ramen.
Cool. Well, I think we'll do one more, and we can probably wrap it up after that. Unless anybody has any objections. This app is called Fang, F-A-N-G, Fancy Name Generator. It's a nice little app that will generate a name for your role-playing game character. So if you have a barbarian or an elf or a magician or whatever the hell you're playing in your Warhammer or your Elder Scrolls or your D&D game, you can put the details into this app, and it will come up with a variety of names that will suggest, which sound very Tolkien-esque or suitable for that particular character. Which I thought a number of times I was struggling to think up a name for various characters when I was a kid. Would have been very handy.
Yeah, I speak nerd. Do you have any names that you've come up with this? And what are you playing that you need it?
No, I haven't played a game of D&D for ages. But if I was playing D&D, then something like this would be very helpful. I'm thinking about introducing my kids to it soon, and something like this would be a good idea to just generate some NPCs to play along with, or that's a non-player character to anyone who doesn't know what NPC means.
Huh, cool.
Yeah, I'll say my inventiveness is not with names. Whenever I played D&D, quite literally, the guy's name was like, Peter or something, He's like, no, I'm not good at
Sounds
names.
like a female shark name.
Yeah. It's like I was so bad at that kind of thing. Yeah, so I can see honestly D&D people literally having this, and just anytime they need a name, just click, click, click.
Yeah, but if you're playing an online game like Warcraft, or you're playing a fantasy game on your computer, you can use it to generate a name for yourself if you prefer.
Here comes Dor with his level 37 dark art warlock, Peter.
Yeah.
and his friend Bob.
Bob
Dragon
Zidinski.
Bob.
And Philip's actually
Bob.
a girl.
Bob, what did you say, Dor? Bob Bobolinsky?
Bob Babinski. Yeah,
Bob Babinski? Is that the NFL player?
exactly. Yeah.
Nice. That's if someone doesn't get that reference, you should look it up if that's around anywhere.
Yeah.
I play in the NFL, NFL, National Football League. Is that what you're referring to, Dor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Not the Mofo League.
Now, let me see this one really quick. I'm going to bring one more. The only question is which one. I'm going to bring this one, even though I am like, the one thing that I really hate is when an icon or something is not even remotely close to being representative of the app or game. The only thing that makes me more mad is when it's a guy with his mouth open for some reason. It's like every single like war fighting game, the guy has to have his mouth open. And now I'm even seeing it on YouTube videos where like, some stupid pose with their mouth wide open. This is not that. The icon is absolutely not representative of the game. Okay. It's called Top Mech Future Wars from Duga Games. It's under strategy. This is almost like Red Alert CNC type strategy kind of game. T for Teen does have an in-app purchase, completely free to download though, no in-app ads. 4.2 average reviews, 2,700 plus reviews. Updated April 15th, 2022. 136 megs in size, 100,000 plus installs. Version 1.1.103, 4.4 Android Nub. Content rating again: teen, fantasy, blood, suggestive themes, more. The permissions, I want to say, was a bit much. He had device history, phone, photo, media storage, camera, blah, 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 blah. This is the way I'll put it, is an extremely pretty version of something like Command and Conquer. on a mobile platform. If you're a fan of that kind of strategy game, I definitely encourage you to at least check this out. Basically, mechs, tanks, foot soldiers strategize who to send who, where, when, and with what other kind of backups. Build your cities, build plants, build power plants, build factories, build armories, build all these things, and then go to war.
How long did
Cool.
you play this?
I played for like 3 minutes and I was like, I got to put this down because, you know, I got to cook for the wife and the kids and do everything else. So it's like, this looks like it could take a lot of time out of me. And I'm not the kind of guy, I hate spending like 3 hours setting up basic things. I want to hit the button and I want to be playing a game within 30 seconds. And that was one thing that this game did do. It basically dropped you right into gameplay quickly.
I always love it when the in-app purchases range from $1.29 to $124.99.
Yeah, and I tried to figure out what are the actual like in-app purchases, and I could not figure them out. Hopefully, it's just to remove ads, is what I'll say.
Unit upgrades and all sorts of stuff like that. If you play to win.
And I didn't get far enough, but it wouldn't shock me if it also would speed up cooldowns of some kind. Just because that seems to be popular.
So what exactly is the logo or the?
It's some random female looking weird at you. Like, what are you looking at? Look.
Looks like she's looking at Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Or Kevin Costner in Waterworld.
Waterworld, yeah.
It's a great film.
So you were that guy that watched it.
I was the one guy who watched it, yeah.
So did you like Howard the Duck?
No, I've heard of it. I never watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just had to do a quick check.
Yeah, that's a long time. Holy smokes.
Was that another Costner film, was it?
No.
Okay.
It was the biggest Marvel movie failure of all time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's ringing bells. I can't remember.
Basically, a woman had sex with a human-sized duck.
What?
Oh, you can't tell me you wouldn't do that, Ivor.
Well, it depends on if she's any good, looking any good.
And I believe it was the girl from Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2.
Oh, definitely. Then. Yeah.
That's like the old adage or question of, would you rather have sex with one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Isn't that how that goes?
You know, the next podcast. An in-depth exploration. Oh dear.
How about them Cowboys? Okay. Want to do a rundown?
Sure. We've got Kiwi Browser, Fast and Quiet by Geometry OU under communication. We've got Nanograms Katana by UC Devs under puzzle. GPS Map Video Camera by GPS Map Camera under photography. Truxxilla Food and Ice Cream Truck Finder by X-Commerce Solutions LLC under food and drink. WT Social 2 by TechnoSoul under entertainment. OSearch Shark Tracker by osearch.org maps and navigation. Area by Autodesk, Autodesk Inc. under social. Call Recorder Cube ACR by Cube Apps Ltd. under tools. Fang Fantasy Name Generator by Crystal Peak under entertainments. Top Mech Future Wars by Duga Game under strategy. And I might have missed some in there.
No, you got them all.
Okay, great. I'm amazing.
I keep saying I'm amazed at Josh.
Very cool. Do you have any parting wisdom there, Ivor?
Yeah, get a Vivo.
Get a Vivo.
Get a Vivo. No, thanks everybody. Thanks Red for coming out in the chat, even though you're on your own today. And thank you to Dora and Josh for actually showing up. And hopefully we can do it again next week.
Very cool. I'll say, Eric, I hope everything's going okay with you. I hope you get over COVID quick and it's, easy to get over is what I'll say is what I hope. Thank you for Red for coming out. And I believe, Red was just hanging by himself, hanging tough. So thank you for coming out, Red. If you would like to join us live, you can follow us on any of the normal and air quote platforms. I don't know if I'm going to be posting this on WT Social. I don't know if I can. Maybe I should look into that.
You should try.
Because as a podcaster, I have my due diligence to every time I walk up to someone and say, hi, do you want to know what my podcast is about? I'm also obligated to push my podcast on every platform that's ever existed. So I'm going to have to do that. I want to also definitely take a moment to thank Philip and Steve for the emails. Thank you very much, guys. Any and all email is always better than no email. And they were really good emails. So thank you guys very much. Ivor and Josh, I want to thank you guys for coming out. I hope you have a good week. And I definitely hope to do this again next week. Talk to everyone again real soon.
Booty sweat.
Yeah. Oh, 555, 555, 5555.
Oh.
I have to watch that again.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was good. We haven't done that for a while. 584. I thought about a new section for the podcast. Highlights of the Voxer chat. Because some things in there we just sort of post. We don't really discuss fully. I think, and by the time the podcast rolls around, we've sort of lost track of it. We could probably,
Yeah, I will say there's definitely good stuff in there. And it's the kind of thing, once you do it in the Voxer chat, you feel like, well, you've done it. Now let's move on. And forget exactly. That no one who listens to the show ever heard of it. Okay. I got to run to the bathroom. I'll be back.
How's Eric doing?
Oh, he seems good. Yeah. Apart from having coof. But apart from that, he's got a new place and a new job. He's working in the timber industry.
Oh, yeah?
Way down the bottom of the South Island.
What kind of timber you got there?
Wooden timber. We've had plenty of jokes about he's got lots of wood. And chip off the old block references and lumberjacks, that sort of stuff. Oh, and truck drivers. Yeah. The sort of things that truck drivers get up to.
Oh, yeah. So is he driving truck?
No, he's a logistics manager, so he basically tells the trucks where to go.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Routes them. That sort of thing. Yeah. Oh, damn, I can't get onto Door's upload site. What is that thing called again?
Nextcloud.
Nextcloud, yeah. It's just not connecting at all. Got a problem with your Nextcloud, Door?
Got to talk louder. He doesn't have his headphones on.
Got a problem with your Nextcloud. It's not opening.
Loading fine.
That means it's your fault.
Oh, yeah,
Ivor.
cool. Oh, it's not getting anything.
You want to take a couple notes on show titles, Dor?
Yeah, give me a couple seconds. I just want to.
Yeah.
I opened up a fresh browser. I just want to make sure I can log in via the public name to Nextcloud. Yep. Okay, I can log in. Okay, so yeah, go right here. I go like this and say, yeah, hit me with some show names if you want.
There's only Dor doesn't need the pills. Hitler killed more people too. that's probably good for SEO. And the only other one I've got is Tottenham Hotspot.
The Wi-Fi is good there, I hear.
You know that it's Tottenham Hotspur, right, Dor?
I always know every time I say it wrong. And my one buddy who's a big Premier fan is like, he gets so upset every time. I'm like, sorry, I can't remember the name.
Yeah, well, what the hell's a Hotspur anyway? It doesn't make any sense.
And that's what I said. I said, where the hell? They literally made the word up, dude. It's not real.
Okay, so the names I came up with were I Married Up, Have You Stopped Beating Your Wife Yet, Food Truck Fights, Mountain Sheep in the same sentence, Tottenham Hotspot Soccer, I'm Not a Social Kind of Fella, Philip is a Girl, I Speak Nerd, Horse-Sized Duck, or Hanging Tough with Red.
Oh, no, come on. Audacity, don't do this.
Okay, I'll try a different browser. Oh, we haven't got one.
Oh, and it didn't export it either? What the heck?
Yeah, first thing you do is save project.
No, I did. I've got it saved, but I exported it to OGG, but it apparently that's where it broke. Apparently that's where I got broken.
PR 549.
Yeah, I probably did export it to a different folder.
Yeah, like a third of the times I'm clicking stuff and then I'm like, I don't see it. So I got to go back, open it up, go click export again, and then see what folder it's pointing.
Yeah, right.
Because sometimes it just randomly changes.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that I know where it is.
Oh, man.
There you are, you Jane, you ignorant.
I just watched a really good excerpt from SNL 1972. And that was the very first words out of his mouth. I think because it wasn't called Weekend Update. When they did it, it was oh man, it was something like oh, I can't remember what it's called. It was supposed to be like the point counterpoint was like opposing points of view or something like that. And she said something and he just flat out, Jane, you ignorant slut. It's like, wow.
You know,
a little bit too natural.
Do you know the who was that? The
Dan Aykroyd?
No. The what we were talking about before, the MFL.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that was?
It wasn't Chappelle.
No, that's old. That's really old. If we're talking about the same thing, like that's from when I was a kid.
I mean, I remember hearing it, but I can't remember who said it.
It was on the only time I saw it was on we had this VHS and it was like Bob Saget, Sam Kinison, whoever that guy was.
That was the first whatchamacallit. Yeah. Saget hosted the first comedy thing, and the superstar guest on that one was Bobcat. That was like one of the very first times you saw Bobcat, and he was
R.I.P.
so drugged up it was ridiculous.
Didn't he just die?
Oh, he's been dead for years. He got in a bad car accident driving from Reno to Vegas in the middle of the night. Got ran off the road, just like motorcycle guy in the 60s with the haircut, with the grease in his hair.
James Dean.
James Dean. Yep, died the exact same way.
No, who? Oh, it was Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert. Oh, he just passed away.
Yeah.
So this year, Louis Anderson, Bobcat, and he died.
Dropping like flies.
Was that?
They're dropping like flies.
Apparently,
Did Betty White die this year too, or was that?
Yep.
End of last year.
No, I want to say she literally died on December 30th or 31st. It was like right before the new year, I believe, because her birthday was like January 22nd or something like that, and she didn't make it to 100. But after she died, me and the wife went back and we watched the first like 2 seasons of Hot in Cleveland. Oh my God, she was hysterical.
Hot in
Cleveland. It basically 3 Hollywood types had an emergency stop in Cleveland, and they decided, well, we're going to be here for at least a couple of days while everything gets fixed and up. So let's just go rent a room. And they rented the room, and Betty White was like the homeowner. She came with the property. And like one of the first words out of the other lady's mouths was, when they walked up, she was like, "Do I smell weed?" And Betty White says, "Are you a cop?" And the girl says, "No." She said, "Then it's none of your business." Wow. Okay. That's a different Betty White.
Valerie Bertinelli was in that one too, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. And
Yes.
there wasn't too many things I'll say I liked her in. I think she did damn good in that show, because it was not just a level, like a normal, in air quote, character.
I still carry a candle for that woman.
Yeah, but to me, the one who did great in that show was and she used to be a model when she was younger. And then she was on the show with David Spade, Just Shoot Me, where she was the model actress. Like all of like 90 pounds, like thin as a friggin' rail. And I didn't know, but in her youth, she was actually like a superstar model. And when we were watching that show, she was like, I want to say she was like just past 60, and she looks fantastic for being that old.
Hmm.
See if I can remember. See if I can get her name. I know Just Shoot Me was one of my favorite shows back in the day, because David Spade was like perfect for it. Wendy Malick is her name. Let's see what Google says she's most known for. Hot in Cleveland, Just Shoot Me, The Emperor's New Groove. Oh yeah, she's good with voice acting. And do you remember Dream On?
Nope.
Dream On
what was that one?
Dream On was one of the very first HBO exclusive shows. And because it was like one of the very first exclusive HBO shows, it was very risque compared to, normal stuff, is what I'll say. And
They got boobs.
Very first episode, they made very sure of that. Yeah, that show's kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah,
I've been watching 1883 lately. It's a bloody good show.
1883.
It's the prequel to Yellowstone. It's like it goes back to the original settlers who went from New York to where's it, Montana. It's really good. It's got Sam in it.
Sounds good.
And yeah, like nanograms. Playing it, I'm thinking if I were to stream this gameplay, this might be the most boring stream that's ever existed in all of mankind.
Yep.
Because it's the kind of game you can't really talk as you're playing because you literally got to count stuff up.
I think my daughter's been playing it for a while. She likes those sort of maths games.
I'll just say the multicolored one gets even harder.
Mm.
Yeah, because I was playing it on my Nintendo Switch Super NES emulation, Japanese only release, Mario Super Picross. Then I showed my oldest son how you can buy the new versions of it on Nintendo Switch for like $7. And he was like, I'm busy enough. I don't got time for that. See, I can't stop playing VR.
Okay. So, Dora, I've not been able to not been able to get access. So, I've uploaded it to my Google Drive. And would you be able to get it from there?
Well, if you give me a link, I should.
Yeah, I just put it in the video chat.
Copy. Paste. Download. How big is it? Do you know?
80.1 megabytes.
Okay.
1.21 gigawatts. What is it?
Oh, yeah. What is that? 87.5 gigawatts or something like that.
Well,
83.5.
83.5 gigawatts.
Save. You saved it as OGV? OG video?
No,
Oh,
so it was OGG.
No, it's OGV.
Crazy.
Gee, Ivor. One job.
So yeah, it says OGG. So why the hell when I click download does it say OGV? 84 megs.
OGG, how do I explain it? Take it frame by frame it.
It's got OGM file here at the source. Maybe Google doesn't recognize it.
It did complain as soon as I started downloading it.
Shit.
Because, you know, Google. I make stuff easy.
80 point. I see it in there, Dora. It's 80.1.
I just copied it there.
Ivor's 280422 because for some reason he doesn't like the normal naming convention and has to put some sort of encoded date and time stamped on it.
Well, how would you like me to name the file?
I don't know, the same way everyone else does. I mean,
The episode number and the person's name.
what the hell does a food truck and a restaurant have in common?
Apart from food.
So you guys getting ready for Mother's Day?
Sure.
Yeah, I know that. I know the feeling.
What do you normally do for Mother's Day over there in America? It's a big thing over there in America, isn't it?
To my wife, yeah. So I asked my kids, what do you want to get mom? My youngest says, pizza? No, not a good answer, dude.
Yeah, well, to a kid that age, pizza is the answer to everything, isn't it?
Well, just about. And look, here's the thing. My buddy in rural Pennsylvania said he was on a drive the other day and he was going through a neighborhood and he saw a fat kid, a really fat kid, throw his scooter to the ground and come waving at him to stop, kind of thing. And he couldn't stop in time. And the kid couldn't see him, and so he left. And then when he came back through the same neighborhood, the same fat kid threw the scooter down, waved his hands to stop. And my buddy stopped. And he was like, "Hey, dude," he says, "We've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty," and then ran away. And I said, "Oh my God, I would have to buy like a 12-inch pizza, go to that neighborhood again, and just give that kid a pizza." And he was like, "No, I'm pretty sure the last thing that boy needs is a pizza." I was like, "Oh, that is gold. I would pay my kid to do that. I would pay my kid to stand in the road and say, whoa, stop. I've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty."
I got a buddy from Liverpool, and he said that him and his brother would go to football matches, and apparently the stadium is kind of rural out amongst the farms, and so you'd have to park on some country road and then walk to get to the stadium.
Is this Liverpool Football Club?
Yeah.
Anfield.
I guess so. Yes, I guess it would be.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a not. It was a Liverpool. It was in the. I don't know. Anyway,
in the Liverpool area.
Yeah. So he said that his brother parked his van with his dog in it on the side of the road, and some little Scouser kid came up to him and was like, "Hey, quid to watch your van." And his brother's like, "No, it's fine. My dog's in there." And the kid looks at him and goes, "Puts out fires, does he?"
Oh, damn. Wow.
Okay, well, this is
righty. He just kicked it up to another level. You're a ball.
On entrepreneurship.
Puts out fires.
Puts out fires, does he?
That sounds Irish to me.
Yeah.
It's a nice van you got there. Shame it burst into flames.
IRA all the way.
What are you mixing with that, Jor? I know that's not just straight. That's not just straight energy drink, though.
No, it's cheap vodka.
Cheap vodka. Yeah. There we go.
Well, because I'm diabetic, I gotta, I can't drink rum. Shouldn't drink whiskey. So, vodka has no carbs and no sugars.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it gets turned into sugars in my body, but I'm trying my best to fight that. I was really mad. Went to the doctor, my new doctor. And one of the things she said was, "Well, I see you had surgery back in August. How are you feeling?" "I'm hurting like hell." "What do you mean you're hurting like hell?" "Well, from here down to my pinky, it's basically fine. But from here to my neck, it's like nonstop." And they were like, "Oh, so when are you going to go back?" I said, "Well, the last time I was there, I distinctly remember the doctor saying, since it took almost 2 years from onset of pain to surgery, when it comes to nerves, it could take up to 2 years for things to fully fix themselves." Oh. And I'm like, okay, that's the last I remember hearing. And she then looked in the system. She says, "Well, I look at the notes of the last appointment, and they said they wanted to see you in 4 to 6 weeks." They didn't tell me that. It's been now 8 months. Thanks for the update.
Jeez.
So now I got to make another appointment to go back with them and see what they say. And I'm afraid they're going to say there is no choice but surgery kind of thing. Because it isn't the disc. It's the cartilage between the disc, between two of them, that's essentially crushed.
Did you say you have to get butt surgery?
Something like that. So, yeah. No, the butt surgery, when I told her I didn't want any butt surgery, I wanted a virtual colonoscopy. She like straight face just looked at me. What's that? I said, well, it's like an MRI or a CAT scan.
They stick the MRI machine up your butt.
And then she was like, well, what's that? And I said, well, it's non-invasive. I said, there's no history in my family of this whatsoever. So I feel like I shouldn't have to do anything over, above, or beyond. This is good enough. So then she sat on her keyboard for like 2 minutes. And then she said, oh, I know it by a different name. To which I can say, I know that's a lie. There is no other name. On the paperwork, it says virtual colonoscopy. Her assistant said, virtual colonoscopy, what's that? The lady at the checkout said, virtual colonoscopy, what's that? The lady next to her said, virtual colonoscopy, I never heard of that. So it's one of those things that as the medical profession here, they just don't push that as an option. They'd rather put you under and, no, I pass.
I thought it was going to be showing your butthole on Zoom.
Well, and that was the one thing. The lady next to the checkout said virtual colonoscopy. Well, that will be pretty awkward if someone walks in on that over Zoom. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not that. Yeah. So then and the thing is, this has existed for at least 20 years as being an option. So after, so after my main doctor, who's not a doctor, whatever, PA, didn't know what it was, and after nobody else in the chain ever heard of this kind of thing, I literally went out and I said, let me go talk to people, to actual people in the profession. None of them have ever even heard of this as being an option kind of thing. And I'm like, I know it isn't the most accurate way of doing testing, but I'll also know this. The American Medical Association, in conjunction with the National Institute of Health, are both asking everybody to turn down the frequency of mammograms and colonoscopies. They said we are doing them entirely too much. We're doing them so much, almost a third of the instances where we have a positive, it turns out to be a false positive. We don't need to test this often, slow down kind of mentality. And of course, when I mention this to my doctor, they're like, they have no idea what I'm talking. They think I'm talking, just, like I'm on Twitter is what I'll say. So when no, I'm actually pretty in tune to things going on in the National Institute of Health and the AMA, because I actually follow them to see what they suggest. Not that I think they're right about everything, but I'm always interested in what they're saying. Because like a couple of years ago, I had to tell my doctor, no, I'm not taking a, oh God, I can't remember the word now. I'm not going to take that anti-cholesterol medication, lipid. Was it lipid?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because if you're prone to diabetes, if you're on your way to diabetes and you take this anti-cholesterol medication, your likelihood of developing full-blown irreversible diabetes in 8 months was increased like 8-fold. And that was the National Institute of Health said. And I had to literally, I asked him, do me a favor, write down this 8-digit number. Okay. And I gave it to him. And I said, now go to the National Institute of Health website and type that 8-digit number in and do a search, and you'll see they said nobody who's borderline diabetic should take a lipid, period. So you're asking me to take a lipid. I'm telling you, no, I'm not taking a lipid.
Now look at my poop chute.
And he just calmly was like, oh, okay. And then the next time I saw him, he said, we're not going to ask you to take a lipid, period. What I'm going to ask you is to adjust your diet. Fair. Okay. We can do that. Sure.
Yeah. How about we start with that next time? Here, take the drug.
Well,
oh, wait, you could change your diet and say it solved the problem as well.
Well, and I'll say, I believe that's why the next time when I came in with something severe, it was, oh, it turns out I am diabetic. And his first rule was stop eating anything white. No rice, no bread,
chicken,
no potatoes, Bread, rice, potatoes, basically. And then it turns out, oh no, it's just carbs. Don't eat carbs. So now it's,
Cocaine.
yeah, exactly. So now it's almost 4 years, I want to say, and I've been off medication, no diabetes meds, no needles, no nothing, kind of thing. The longer that lasts, the better.
Yeah, but they don't want that for you, Door.
I know. They want to give me meds and needles and everything else.
They
It's
don't
like,
get paid otherwise.
well, and I like, and my dad has had diabetes for years, and whenever we go out to eat, I order my food, he orders his food. I'm looking at his food like, there's a reason why you're screwed.
Yeah, but he's got a pill.
And
shot.
shots.
Yeah. You can eat whatever you want, man. Just take that shot first. I know my sister is like, she's big, very big. And yeah, and it was like, oh, well, I'm fat and I'll just take a shot. Wow, okay, that's not the answer.
Yeah, see, like in like 3 weeks, I want to say we're going to Disney, and when I'm there, I'm going to partake in everything. So my logic is, I spend the other 51 weeks out of the year just being a little bit selective. You know what I mean? Let's say no to that bar of fudge, and let's eat a couple pork rinds, or something less intense, kind of thing. So when I go to Disney, I can say yes, give me that dessert. Yes, give me that whatever. Because everything there is deadly. I will say I did laugh when the wife was going over menu options, and whenever she mentioned a vegan option at Disney, I went and looked at the numbers. Whew, it's more unhealthy to get their vegan things than their non-vegan things because they're so heavy in like fat. And I don't know how you get heavy in carbs. Well, all of it was high in salt, but I don't know how you get high in carbs with being vegan. But Disney found a way to do it.
Well, you eat potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes.
All that starchy rice.
There was, lots of starch.
So is that file come through all right, Dor?
At 84 megs, yes.
Great. Gained a couple of megs on the way. But
well, we always round up. This is America.
Everything's bigger in America.
Yeah, including seats.
Yeah. Seats. Okay, well, I better go and cook some dinner.
All right, man. Thank you for coming out.
It's been great talking to you. And hopefully we can do it again next week.
Yeah, as long as the microwave's not running, yeah. Ethernet over power. Okay.
All right, see
you. Later. Oh, what a tool.
I know. But hey, at least he's our tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's painfully obvious. Him and his brother never watch the YouTube feed. Ever. Like after the fact. Because every single time I say, okay, whenever you are ready, and as soon as I say ready is when I switch it to his camera, and then he always says like, okay, so it's this. No, whenever you're ready means we're live. So yeah, could be worse.
Oh, no, that was fun. I'm gonna try to do an intro here.
Okay, I'm going to take all of these, send them to myself via an email. So I have all the show names and everything ready to rock and roll. So yeah, on Monday, I'm basically taking off work, driving down to the mall, getting her something. I don't know. Oh, everything's better with bacon. Ooh, man. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down. That's not right. I don't think that it's right at all. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Close. Shut down. Okay. How'd it work out?
Oh, it's garbage like usual.
So you're saying we're good?
Yeah.
Remember, under promise, over deliver.
That's right. That's the story of my life. I like to
Me
under
too.
promise and under deliver.
Well, you have to manage expectations, yes. So then when you actually do something good, people are like, wow, we didn't see that coming. So why? Oh, okay. We need to bang, 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 bang.
Bang on the door, baby.
Yeah, I can't remember where me and my wife were at, but we heard a song from the B-52s and we just started singing. I'm thinking, we are so immature. We are made for each other. And I was thinking, even when I was a kid, I don't think I really liked the B-52s. But damn, they made some catchy music.
They did, yeah.
And, come to find out, like two of the people came from other bands. One of them was Bootsy friggin' Collins, who turned out to be like one of the most talented bass guitar players of my generation. I didn't even know it. And then the other guy, I can't remember where he came from. He came from someplace else. But yeah, as soon as they became popular, they dissolved.
It's funny too, like when you think about, when I was a kid and you'd hear an Aerosmith song and it's like, wow, this band, da da da, and you think that it's their first album or something like that, and they get older, like, holy shit, this is mid 70s, and
right. Yeah, it turns out, they've been around for 30 years, didn't they?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Dude does look like a lady.
Yeah, he does. He looks like an old lesbian now. But you'll have that.
Wow. I mean, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug, and I can't remember I can't remember what I was listening to, but they swore any man that got snipped would eventually look like an old woman. Vasectomy, that's what it was. Any man who had a vasectomy would look like an old woman. And then I literally went and did research looking at it, and I can't find any vasectomy changing anything with hormones whatsoever. So it's like, I don't know. So I guess we'll see if I look like an old lesbian here soon.
Oh yeah, getting the snip?
I've been snipped for years. I can't afford no more kids. Are you kidding? I'm a government employee. And I'm pushing 50. So let's just say that. So I guess it's one of the reasons why I have the beard. Help try to, avoid people saying, "Excuse me, miss."
I thought it was just so that you'd never get laid again.
Well, that too. Yeah, I said to my wife, she said we were watching something. And the person was talking about flirting at work. And then my wife turned to me and says, "Do you flirt at work?" Thought you knew me. No. And she's like, "Oh, I said, no. Nothing in my life has ever made me more uncomfortable than the idea of flirting. Do you think I want to do it voluntarily at work? No. Trust me, every female at work, if they know one thing, they know there is no chance at all of me wanting sex with them." And she stopped. And I said, "Pleasing one woman's hard enough." Yeah. Okay. So, I got some really trashy audio this time. I'm like peaking way, way more than I should be peaking. It is ridiculous.
How's my audio look, Dor? I didn't even really look at it.
I haven't opened up yet. Too busy being displeased with my audio. I bumped the friggin' mic twice.
Yeah, you really blasted it one of those times.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about having balanced audio. Those kinds of things really stick out. Wow, there's been some horrendous lip smacking too. Turn it down a notch or two.
Yeah, if you want to watch something that is good for a simple laugh, check out The Ranch. I know you don't like Ashton Kutcher, but
Honestly, I have heard good things about that. I didn't know. I mean, is it? I didn't even know. Is it like a Hulu thing or where is it at?
Netflix.
I've never seen it. And all the times when I sit down with the wife and she loads up Netflix, I would have figured I would have seen it as being one of the things pushed. You know what I mean?
Well, it's probably old enough now that it's not at the top of the algo.
Well, I'll say they love once in a while shoving old crap. I've seen that.
Oh, yeah. Crap being the correct term.
They have to maximize their efficiency kind of thing. I will say one thing that made me really happy was I heard just how bad Jon Stewart's Apple Plus ratings have been.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I genuinely really like Jon Stewart. I think he's a super nice guy, super sweet guy. But all the crap I saw that he was doing, it's wow.
Yeah, well, that's that virtue signaling wokeness.
Yeah, exactly.
White fragility.
Which I don't understand because at least when I pictured everything he did, The Daily Show, it wasn't. I didn't think it was like that.
No, I don't think it was.
Yeah, because I think when I watched that stuff, that was genuine from his heart. The things he believed needed to be addressed. Where now it's just, I feel like I should say this. Let me say this, which is a shame.
It is, but that seems to be where everything's headed.
All the main platforms are pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's all based in San Francisco and Silicon Valley. Just get pushed out.
The more I look into San Francisco, the more, if given the chance, I would just choke Pelosi to the point where she's dead.
Well, it wouldn't take much.
It wouldn't take much. But here's the other coincidental kind of thing. Pelosi was born, grew up in her teens, not far from where I'm at right now. She was a Baltimore girl. And I did not know that. I did not know that at all. And when somebody told me that, I did not believe them. Then when I had a coworker who's like in his 60s who says, "Oh yeah, I remember her. She was a slut." I said, "Excuse me? Oh yeah, I remember partying back with her. She was a slut. She screwed everybody." I'm like, "What?"
Wow, she's a senator now. Like, how do you think you get their door?
Oh,
Wow, California is just